to Scrum Master. And so zero means so many things for different people, because zero could be you're certified and you're trying to get a job. Zero could be you don't even know what Scrum or Agile is about at all, and you're just trying to figure out what is this, and I've been hearing about this and I want to know more about it. Zero could mean you are working and you want to pivot. So we're going to talk about what zero means, because it's so important that I know where you're at and where you're trying to get. I already know about where you're trying to get to, of course, Scrum Master. But I would love to know much more about your background and all of that. I'm going to be asking questions as I go through today's session. But again, thank you so much for being here, for attending Answer Technologies Scrum Master webinar. We do this monthly, at least monthly, yes. And so it's one of our opportunities to really educate our community, help professionals who are looking to pivot. We know the corporate career landscape is changing and shifting so much. I want to make sure that we are showing people other ways where they can get high in demand skills, high in demand trainings, and all of that, so they have more tools in their toolbox, that serves them, so they can have a career that serves them. And so this is one way which we give back to our community, and of course tell our community about the programs that we offer and see, hey, if we're a match, absolutely, we'll be happy to help you in your career journey. So again, zero to Scrum Master. I always give a disclaimer at the beginning of every of my sessions, because the Scrum space and the Agile space is such an opinionated space and field, and that is just the honest truth. Just take a look at LinkedIn. You will get into the well and a deep dive of everyone's opinion about what Scrum is, what Agile is, if it's alive or if it's dead. So my point here is everything I'm going to share today is all of my personal opinion. Being in this space for such a very, very long time, immersing myself in everything that's to do with agility. I share from my experience. I share from what I see from other professionals. I share from my education, and hey, that is, like I said, disclaimer, this is my opinion. You might leave this class and go somewhere else and get a different opinion. That is their opinion. But I truly believe in my point of view, my opinion, and there are multiple reasons that back this up, because of just what I have done and how much I am in the space and all of that, right? So again, just get ready, because I'm going to be sharing, and I always share without restrictions. So get ready for a ride today for sure. And so yeah, of course, you're going to learn about your entry point into a 100K career and above. If that is where you're trying to get to, this is a great space for you. If you're trying to get into a tech background and you're wondering if Agile or Scrum is a path for you, okay, we're going to talk about that as well, right? So for me, Scrum, Agile, it's a door that can lead to multiple endpoints, right? It can lead to multiple endpoints if you want to work in tech, if you want to work in non-tech, if you want to become a leader, if you want to know how to manage a team, if you want to know how to think as an Agile practitioner, an Agilist, if you want to know what other career paths are out there, I see Scrum and Agile as, like I said, let me just say, a key that opens multiple doors. It just depends on what you are looking for. And I want to tell you for sure that please stay to the end. I know a lot of people are always quick to leave this calls, like sometimes, please stay to the end, because again, knowledge is important, but how do you activate that knowledge? Information is important, but how do you activate that information? Who is there to really help you take what you've learned and activate it into result? And I'm going to be sharing more about that at the end of today's webinar. And so now I'm saying, who is this webinar for? And this is a point in time where I take a pause in speaking, because I'm going to be speaking for a while today to know more about you. And so if you are here, which of these categories do you fall under? And if your category is not here, that is okay. You can put it in the chat. Are you an aspiring Agile practitioner, which means you haven't started working as an Agile practitioner? And so FYI, I use Agile practitioner and Scrum Master interchangeably, because the Scrum Master, in my opinion, again, is an Agile practitioner, but we have other roles that could be Agile practitioners. So aspiring Agile practitioners mean you've never worked as a Scrum Master. College graduate, we have a lot of college graduates who are looking for other path, like not the traditional route. So what else can we do? What else can I do? So if that is you, let me know in the chat. Or are you a professional wanting to switch careers, which could also put you in the category of an aspiring Agile practitioner? So maybe you're someone who is like, I don't want to be in this industry or have this career title anymore. I want to try something else. Let me know if that is you. Or you work with Scrum Masters and you want to even become a Scrum Master. So you've seen what they do and it intrigues you. Let me know in the chat. And I think one more that might be busy might be maybe someone who's certified and is trying to get a job. Let me also know in the chat as well. So I always see, hi Jen, thank you for saying that you are an aspiring Agile practitioner. That is awesome. So let me know, are you certified or are you yet to take a certification? Or what knowledge have you gathered so far? Or this is just your first introduction into this? Let me know in the chat. And for the rest of the team, let me know as well, what category? Okay, so certified and currently applying. Well done for your certification. That is awesome. And kudos to you for applying. Just keep at it. I know there's so much I can say about job application, trying to get a job, so much. But I'm hoping that I'm able to answer some of your questions if you have questions today. Number 1 and 3, Anna says, switching career from film production to UX to UI design. I love it. Oh, you are definitely in that path. Like, you've got the background to be able to make that pivot. So I'm hoping that today's session gives you an idea of what it means to be a Scrum Master, which is not necessarily someone who does UX, UI design, but hey, I work with Scrum Masters within an agile environment. So this might actually give you an upper hand if you're applying as a UX, UI designer. Jen also said, about to take the PSM1, just completed a Udemy course. Okay, go Jen. You are definitely on the education route and you're doing what you can do at this point in time. Education is important, certification is important, but I will tell you honestly, there's of course much more to that than certification, but that's a great entry point. So kudos to you. Alrighty, so I see more people are joining too. Hey, hi everyone. We are just going over and just talking more around who's on the call today and what category you fall into. And I think we have such a diverse group. We've got people who are about to take their PSM1. Someone is about to switch from film to UX UI design. Someone who is certified and currently applying. So let me know in the chat as well, just what category you fall into. It'll be good to make sure that even as I speak, I'm speaking to your needs as well. Okay. All right. So while you're thinking about that, welcome again. Let me tell you a little bit about who I am and why I'm here. If you're here, you probably saw this, class or webinar somewhere on social media, or maybe someone invited you. In fact, I actually want to even know, how did you even find out about today's webinar? Just put in the chat. Then just let me know. Is it Instagram, Facebook? How? Did you close your eyes and you saw me in the dream? Maybe, I don't know, but just put it in the chat. Meetup. Okay, that's fantastic. All right, meetup. Okay, great. I love that. I see someone in the waiting room, just admitting the person. Email. Okay, great. All right, let me go straight up into who am I and why am I all things agile in my opinion. So my name is Stella Iheanacho, and I have been in the agile and Scrum space for such a long time. I am a certified agile coach, certified Scrum Master coach. I have over a decade experience in the agile field overall, and also project management field. I like to say that I started from the bottom because I started from project, and moved all around different project titles, and then agile. And currently, right now, I'll share more about what I do currently. So I've worked in multiple industries. I've worked with multiple sizes of teams. I've just worked with in different spaces. So, and with different companies and of course clients as well. And so from London School of Business and Finance, Dimension Data, PTC, all of them are all in different domain areas. And so to me, that is another proof that agile or being a Scrum Master can be used regardless of industry. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be tech. And I preach this message all the time. Currently, it says that I'm leading a team of senior agile coaches and engineering leaders, which is still true. My core area has just moved. Before it was in engineering, so I need to definitely update that slide. Now it's more of data engineering and AI, because of the world that we're in right now. So just a little bit backstory. I was literally moved because they needed to make some major transformation within a new org, and that's where I'm at right now. Also, one of my most amazing role and responsibility is to be someone who is the agile coach at Enter Technologies. And so what that means is that I am the one who's responsible and also the expert in training and coaching professionals who are looking to become successful Scrum Masters and agile practitioners on the job. And so we have, of course, the school, Enter Technologies, by which is, of course, sponsoring, the platform at which we're doing today's workshop and webinar. And one of our courses is Scrum Master Comprehensive Courses. So I have the opportunity I've worked with multiple hundreds of professionals who have gone through our program once every quarter and are now successful Scrum Masters on the job and agile practitioners on the job. I usually joke that my students are earning more than me. And honestly, some of them literally are. Yeah. And of course, I'm also a consultant for some agile certifying organizations as well. So I have the privilege of being an expert or just giving my opinion on some certain exams that some of us might know or might not know of, or just what, how they should structure that and what the outcome will look like. So I say all of this to really say that I am very passionate and driven when it comes to agile as a way of life, agile as a way of thinking, and agile as a way of work. I truly believe that you can do literally agility can be the foundation of how you lead your life. And even just within an organization perspective, you see how agile can transform how teams work together. You see how agile can transform how customers interact with companies. And then the principles are so just phenomenal that you can literally leverage that in your day-to-day life as well. So I am holistically thinking about not just agile as a way of working in an organization, in a Fortune 500 or in a small business, but also how can we leverage these agile principles even in our day-to-day living? How can we think like that? All right, so I'm going to take a pause. So I wanted to just share who I am a little bit for those who probably are just encountering me for the first time. So I think we've gone through this. So let me go over the agenda for today. We're going to cover a bit of certain things, right? Again, I'm glad we have a diverse group. So I'm going to talk about like the Agile and Scrum fundamentals. Those who are certified, perhaps already familiar with this, which is fine. Who's the Scrum Master? What does Scrum Master do? How do you become a Scrum Master? What are certain roadblocks to becoming a Scrum Master? What is the job market saying? And then let's talk about like what are the blockers and also opportunity for you to please ask questions. This is always a huge opportunity where if you have any questions, it's a good time for you to catch my attention. And at the end of today's session, I would spend really good time answering your questions. So as I speak, if you have questions, put in the chat and I'll attend to those at the end of today's session. Okay. Let me know if you're still following me. You can give me a thumbs up somewhere or you can put something in the chat. Okay, just let me know to make sure that I have not lost any one of you and we are still together. All right, so let's talk about Agile and Scrum and all of that, right? And let me see who I'm probably going to call up on. All right, so Anna, for example, Anna, you're switching from film production to UX UI design. When you hear the word Agile, what comes to your mind? What comes to your mind? Let me know. Or anyone else, efficiency, absolutely. Efficiency is so important. Thank you for answering. Okay, so let's let me share what this is, right? So again, Agile, it's a mindset, it's a way of working. It's literally, imagine trying to shift how someone thinks. And this is why there will always be a need for agile practitioners and scrum masters. And thank you for putting yours. Adaptation, absolutely yes. Efficiency, adaptation, and there's some we can literally keep going on and on and on. And so it's a mindset. It's shifting how we think about work and how we work, right? It's an approach to managing project or managing product or managing work that really just helps the team deliver value faster. And so to Anna's point, we're thinking about efficiency, right? How do we deliver value faster? And how are we ensuring, you know what? I love the fact that I have efficiency and adaptation in the chat, because this first paragraph is just more words that cover that. So if you think about it from how do we help teams deliver value faster? That is efficiency. If you think about it from continuous feedback loop, that is adaptation, because when we get feedback, what are we doing? We are adapting and we're changing, right, what we're building to suit whosoever our end customer is, right? So again, it's just an umbrella. It's an umbrella, even as a word, it's an umbrella for multiple other frameworks. So I like to say that Agile is the methodology and we have multiple frameworks under it, right? Another thing about Agile is you think about it as it's a process. So it's an iterative process, which means you keep it, we have multiple iterations. Whenever saying that the first delivery is perfect, whenever saying that the first design is perfect, whenever saying the first, if everyone can in the chat, just give me an idea of the work that you currently do right now. If you're working, maybe your title, because I want to make sure that this is very practical to you as I'm using your current work as examples, as I'm speaking as well. And this is how I teach. Very practical so that you understand it regardless of what level that you're in. And so no matter what you're delivering, first it could be the design, it could be whatever it is, it's never perfect, okay? it always keeps getting better. And so also incrementally, which means we keep adding onto it, thanks to the feedback loop. And so that's really what Agile is. Again, it's a way of work, it's a mindset. And today's class, I'm not going to go into the core details as much as I would really love, but I'm just going to speak enough so that at least you have enough knowledge to make whatever the next decision is you want to make. Hopefully, is to join our program. Okay, so I see marketing ops consultant, HubSpot, CRM. Okay, awesome. So whatever it is, right, it's never fully fleshed out. It's never fully 100%. Is we make changes as we keep going on and on and on. And so that's kind of like a fundamental core concept of agility. So think about it as what you're doing right now, whether you are a mom or dad, you're working in the front desk, you're a marketing person, a consultant, you have to deliver something, to your customer, to your client. If you wait for it to be 100% perfect, you wait for such a long time. And guess what? By the time you deliver it, the customer has changed their mind. And so that's why a lot of companies are wanting to adopt agility and the core of how they work and how they operate. And so remember I said that Agile is the umbrella. And so now you see that there are multiple parts of that umbrella. So we've got Scrum as the top, which is a huge portion of the pile. And I'll share more as to why Scrum is a huge portion of that pile. But there are many more. People always think Agile is equal to Scrum. No, it's not. Scrum is just one of the frameworks under Agile. And hi, I see someone, hi Kusi, new to Agile. Well, I hope that at the end of today, at least you at least know what Agile is. Even that's the list that you end up leaving with, but I know you're going to leave with more. Okay, so now why Agile, right? So we talked about it being adaptable, efficiency, we're not delivering everything at the end, we're delivering bits and pieces and all of that. So why is it much more, chosen or desired by organizations right now? Why is it, like the company just wake up and decide we want to do Agile? No, they didn't just wake up and decide. They realized that there was a better way of working. Now, what was the other way of working? Now, I'm not saying the other way of working is a terrible way, is an old way. No, we just call it's more of a traditional way. But guess what? Some companies still need to work in that fashion. Not all companies might necessarily leverage Scrum framework. However, they might all need to think as an agilist. So I don't want you to miss this at all. It's required that everyone thinks as an agile practitioner. That doesn't mean that everyone has to practice the agile methodology or one of the framework. I'm just going to keep that hanging, okay? So why are a lot of companies now wanting to switch to the agile way of working or agile project management or agile delivery process, whatever that is, just because of the difference between the way that probably they were working before, right? So think about agile from when it comes to the amount of work, how do we manage the work that we're doing? In agility, right, we deliver in bits and pieces. While in waterfall, which is the other way of working, we have to do everything. We have to literally know what the end is from the beginning and then deliver it. But the problem with that, like I said, is you deliver it and then the customer has changed their mind. So if you look at the bottom part of this deck, of this slide, you see that from Agile allows customers to be available throughout the project. So we get feedback. So there's that continuous feedback loop because who are we delivering it for? The customer. But when it comes to the waterfall, we only want the customer to be there at the milestone. And sometimes the milestones are hard coded, which means this is the milestone, this is the milestone. If you want to change the milestone, you've got to either pay more money or we go through a whole change request process, right? And so that is one of the key differences. Another difference is just how the teams are structured. And so when it comes to agility and most of the frameworks, they require like a small mid-sized team, and there are reasons behind that. But waterfall sometimes it requires such a large team coordination. And another key difference that is not on here is the waterfall, project management process has someone called the project manager who's responsible for the successful delivery of that project. When it comes to agility or agile teams, we don't have someone who functions as a project manager in that team. We might have the project management manager in the organization, but not in the team. So again, just as key differences as to why most companies are now pivoting into becoming agile organizations. And I just thought like sharing why Agile as well. So there's something called the Agile Manifesto. For those who are new to Agile, just make a note of this. You can read it. It gives you it gives you an idea of what the mindset is around why Agile and how Agile should be applied. One of them, it says individuals and interactions over processes and tools, which just really means we need people talking. The tools are great, but we need more communication. The second one is more around we need something to work. Don't give me a huge document on how something to work. Can you just show me pieces and bits and pieces of how it's working? The other one is more around customer, involving our customer throughout our production or our delivery process, instead of saying this is what the contract says over and over and over again. And the last one is all about responding to change over following a plan, which is can we adapt? Back to what Fulani mentioned, can we adapt? How adaptable are we? Key point here is that it says over. It doesn't say individual interactions and no processes and tools. People always mix it. I don't know why people always mix this up sometimes. Is just because we're saying individual interactions don't mean that we don't want processes and tools. We're just saying we'd prefer we spend more time on individuals and interactions. Okay. Awesome. I'm taking a look at the chat while I'm reading as well. So let me know again if there are any questions up to this point. I wanted to just level set again as to why Agile, why, companies are pivoting to Agile. And of course, I've shown you all this. Why Scrum? Scrum is one of the most popular framework. And then this shows you a really good picture, just how waterfall, which is a traditional way of managing project, how waterfall works. So if you look at it, is we start one phase, after one phase is done, we move to the next phase, we move to the next phase. But this picture really gives an idea of just how you keep getting feedback, and you keep making things better. Customers are happier, and even if they're not happier, guess what? You have such a short time span to make them happier again. Because at the end of the delivery on the waterfall, sometimes it's too late. And I've been in waterfall projects like a year. We just keep going on and on and on. Sometimes some government projects are actually 3 years, 5 years project. Keeps going on and on and on and on. And like I said, there are some industries that are required to do their work that way, the waterfall way. So not say that waterfall is worse or terrible, absolutely not. There's some industries that have to do work a certain way, that way. But it's up to the company to decide if that way or that approach is works for them. Okay. So again, why is Scrum popular, right? So talk about why Agile is important, why companies are pivoting to Agile. Talk about just a little bit high level of what makes Agile stand out as a way of work. Now, one of the popular ones is Scrum, like I mentioned. So why is it popular? Why is Scrum popular? Why is it at Enter Technologies, our course is literally called the Scrum Master Comprehensive Course, even if we cover some other frameworks under the Agile umbrella? Because number one, people say it is easy to implement. Now that is out for the jury to decide. They say it's easy to implement. It represents teamwork, right? So there's much more there's much more organization within the team. There's much more responsibility given to the team, as opposed to the other way of working. The responsibility is given to the project manager. This one, the team is responsible. I literally came off a podcast a couple of days ago, and one of the questions that were asked was just more around why is it that most Scrum Masters forget to understand that it's a team effort. So within a Scrum team, if one person doesn't deliver, it's not you did not deliver. While that is usually what happens in a corporate world, you know how it is. One person doesn't deliver, you are the person you didn't deliver. You get called out. But really, if we really want to practice agility within a team, and Scrum within a team, you have to shift that mindset. And it's a lot of mindset shift in asking questions and showing them what to do and how to do things better. Is if one person doesn't deliver, guess what? We all did not deliver. And now imagine when you make that shift happen mentally within a team. Now, if someone is slacking behind or someone is struggling, what's going to happen though? Every other person will be more invested in the other person's work, because now we're all moving together. If someone said that they're stuck or they're blocked or they don't have their hardware or something is broken, everybody wants to be part, everybody wants to rally around supporting that person, because we are all going together. But if it's like you did not deliver that code, you're just putting in things that are breaking the pipeline or whatever it is. I'm good, you're not good, my bonus is good, your bonus is not good. So you see what that causes within a team? It causes dysfunction. And that's why it goes back for me saying that Agile really goes beyond the way of work. He also talks about even the way of life as well. Because if you think about it, if you're within maybe a community organization, your team, or even your family, now imagine where you shift the mindset where it's not just you. That takes away from being selfish as an individual. And now how can we all work together as a team? Right. Another reason why Scrum is popular is it helps companies get value faster. It promotes short-time work. It lowers the risk because of the fact that the maximum amount of work time in Scrum is 4 weeks. And so 4 weeks is enough time to get feedback. You can lower the risk as opposed to delivering something fully formed in 1 year versus delivering a part of that thing in 4 weeks, and you can get feedback consistently. You can also implement change as and when they occur. It helps to deliver quality product, quality service, quality software, quality whatever it is, applications. You're able to make the customer happy because you're involving them in the process. The process is more effective and flexible, and it also creates a specific work culture that enhances productivity, right? So these are some of the reasons why Scrum is popular. Another reason I would for sure say, and I mentioned at the beginning, is the fact that it can be used across multiple industries. So I know I asked earlier about what companies are you working on. So I see Mr. Brandon say that he's a project management professional with a background managing human resources, processes, and project. The funny thing is that HR actually is now implementing Agile as a way of work. And I think that is such a great marriage for sure. And you're looking to land your first role as PSM1. Okay, so it sounds like you already got your PSM certification, which is great. So Mr. Terry says he's retired but not tired. I love it. I'm venturing into marketing and real estate and no knowledge of Agile, but excited. Awesome. I'm hoping that some of the things I shared today, you can literally leverage it in your day-to-day, just your day-to-day work. All right, so any more questions in the chat, let me know. But look at the industries right here. Some of them, not all of them, by the way, that you can leverage Scrum. And apparently, even in real estate, there's actually real estate tech. I just love it. There's actually, you can literally apply agility or even Scrum as a framework in real estate as well. We'll talk about that. If you want to have more questions, just let me know. But it could be real estate, it could be health, it could be food, it could be retail. Most of these companies, right, or have already shifted into leveraging Agile, and they are looking for Agile practitioners. They're looking for Scrum masters. They're looking for people who know how to come into that environment and really bring in the Agile way of working, right? So we're talking about construction, data analytics, automotive, insurance, education, customer service. So multiple industries leverage Scrum, and some of the companies that, of course, we're already familiar with, right? Google, Apple, we already know those companies, but don't get lost in these companies. And I know someone mentioned that applying for jobs, most time people are applying for jobs, just focus on the popular ones or the ones that are out there, or just the tech companies. Let me tell you, there are multiple companies that you might not be aware of that are looking for Scrum masters. They might not call the role Scrum master, but if you look at the job description, it is already something that you can do. I always tell my students, and I'm sharing this here for you for free, is be flexible on the job title. Just look at the job description. You can be a little bit rigid on job description, but on the job title, be flexible. Because what they call a role in one company, I can tell you is not the same thing they call the same role in a different company. And those two companies can be on the same street, right? So it's the role and the responsibility that matters. And so these are some of the companies that we're familiar with that already use Scrum or Agile. And I'm putting the popular ones, the popular companies here, so that you see if these companies are leveraging it for a good reason, because they've seen the impact it has on their revenue, their bottom line, their people, and the products that they deliver. All right. So again, I hope everyone is still following me. Let me know if you have questions in the chat, and I hope this is helpful. So now let's talk about even just more about Scrum. We talk about, I said earlier that Scrum was easy to implement, right? So if it's so easy, why is everyone not jumping into it? Depending on where you're at, depending on who you ask. People are like, oh, nobody's jumping into Scrum anymore because of XYZ. They are like, oh, every Tom, Dick, and Harry is in Scrum. I mean, it depends on what side of the coin you're looking at, right? And I've seen this that says Scrum is easy but hard to implement, and then you begin to wonder why. Why do we think Scrum is easy and hard to implement? Let me know in the chat. Why do you think Scrum is easy? Or do you think Scrum is easy? Let me know in the chat. Do you think Scrum is easy and hard to implement? Yes or no? And if you think yes, let me know why you think it might be the case. And if you think, no, I think Scrum is easy and it's actually easy to implement, let me know why you think that might be the case. I'm just curious. All right. So going more into the educational part of this, like what is Scrum? Again, it's a way of breaking large products into small chunks, right? You talked about just small chunks. Scrum is just one of the framework, right? So they can break work into large, small chunks. And then the goals are all defined and time boxed, right? So we have the small teams, we have the self-organized teams. And the good thing about Scrum as a framework is that within a team, you have people who are cross-functional. I think that is just amazing. So the goal is, and this is ideal. And I love the response I'm seeing in the chat because let me tell you, by the time you learn Scrum, and one of the our unique selling points at Enter Technologies when I teach the Scrum course, or one of our teachers do that, is we make it real. We tell you what is happening in reality. You know how you study something and then you go to the job and you're like, wait, what world did I just step into? That's what's gonna happen. And let me take a moment to look at what's in the chat, because yes, to Jen's point, you are dealing with humans and human behavior and mindset change. You'll be so surprised when we like you literally go to work and be like, what in the world is happening today? So yes, that human element always poses a challenge, the resistance, of course. And I think that the hard part is getting everyone on teams and upper management to truly buy into this new way of doing things. Absolutely spot on. Yes, 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 yes. And the funny thing is, upper management might be the one cutting you a check and have hired you, and then you realize, wow, I didn't just come here to work with the teams. I have to come here and also help upper management, because most companies think that Agile or Scrum is a solution pill to all sickness. And then they just want you to give the pill to the team, when in fact, everything rises and falls on leadership. And so as a Scrum Master, if you go into a Scrum role and I tell my students, don't just go into a team and just close your eyes and put blinders on. If you want to create impact and you want to be known as a successful Scrum Master, which is always the goal for my students, is you have to think about your impact on your level, your team level, department level, and organizational level. And each level has its own way of working, own competencies, and all of that. All right. So a Scrum team is made up of a product owner, Scrum Master, and development team. And so these are like the roles within a Scrum team. You could use another framework, would not have the same, but this is what a Scrum team has, right? And it's built on what I call like sprints. But I didn't call it sprint, but that's what it's called, the time boxed amount of time where the team can deliver a sprint. And I know I mentioned before that the maximum is 4 weeks, right? And you also want to ensure that one of the goals is at the end of every sprint, that what are we delivering? What is that MVP that we're delivering, right? And so in just a summary, again, like Scrum requires a product owner who talks to the client, who talks to the customer, to the end user. They know what their vision is. They know what the product vision is. They're feeding this into the team. Scrum Master is the one who helps work with the team, making sure that there are no distractions, and the Scrum team and the stakeholders are the ones who Scrum team or development team delivers the work in. There's just that coordination going on. And so as a Scrum Master, then the question is, what is your role and responsibility? It's a lot. It's really a lot. And I know my slide is a little bit wordy, but as a Scrum Master, your role and responsibility is a lot, honestly. So when I hear people say, I don't have any work to do, or my day is so light, I'm like, trust me, your day is not light. You just haven't really thought about the fact that you're a change agent and you're not seeing the areas for you to influence change. So as a Scrum Master, your day should not be light. Excuse me. And so some of your responsibilities could be, how do you ensure your team can be effective? If you literally say for 1 month, I'm going to think about ways on how my team can be effective, you'll be so busy, because there are multiple ways that literally every day you see something to do. Think about if you're going to say, maybe next month, I'm going to be addressing team dynamics. That is enough to keep anybody busy. Then you work about ensuring a good relationship between the team and even the product owner. Yes. Or helping the team, making sure that they are focused on the work that they are delivering, right? Coaching the team members on how to communicate, how to collaborate. You are also learning to, so literally no day is the same as for a Scrum Master, right? You are coaching, you are doing training yourself, because education, wearing an education hat, it's one of the expectations of a Scrum Master, like teaching your team, because depending on where your team is at, you could be in an environment where you just get hired, for example, and the team is just put together for the first time. What are you going to do? You have to teach them, because they brought you, and your name literally says Scrum Master, which means master of Scrum framework. So there's an expectation that you know enough to teach. I have students who literally on her day one, she was given 7 teams. Like 7 teams is, in my mind, is an anomaly, because there's no way she can spread herself across 7 teams. But imagine if she wasn't prepared. What is she going to do? I also have Scrum Masters who just have 1 team, and they've been having that for like 2 years or so, right? So again, it depends. You never know, but you can have enough idea before you go for an interview or when you're doing your interview. Excuse me. Sorry, I had a cough. All right, so let me take a break here. Anybody have any question for me? Okay, so on my slide deck right now, you can see multiple skills that a Scrum Master has. So you can either be helping the team, you can be a process owner, you can be a facilitator, you can be anything, depending on the needs of your team. And I have like some hard skills and soft skills. Now, this is not an exhaustive exhaustive list at all. So it depends again on the expectation of the company or the customer or the client you're going to be working for. But some of this, at least communication, like you're going to be talking for sure, right? So communication is not, it's like, if you don't like talking, if you don't like leading change from the front, if you don't like confrontation, this role might not be a role for you. I've had students say, you know what, Stella, the Scrum Master role might not be for me. I'm going to take your other course, which is fine because we all know ourselves, right? So you don't want to set up yourself for failure here. And for me, that is wanting to ensure that I am helping and coaching Scrum Masters be successful on the job. I'm open to being authentic with you. We say, well, I might struggle in this area, like presentation. You could be presenting to senior leadership, right? That is an expectation of you. How are you able to resolve conflict? How are you able to negotiate? Do you have empathy, right? Can you adapt? Like all these things are core, bare minimum expectations of a Scrum Master. Okay, so let's talk about just, can you work as a Scrum Master without a background in tech? The answer is absolutely yes. I mean, from what I've shared so far, I've shared that you can work as a Scrum Master even in other industries that are not tech related. But I know for sure, like most people want to work in tech, which is okay, right? Because a lot of companies are enabled by tech. So I say that there are two kinds of companies. So companies that tech is their product and companies that are enabled by tech. Most companies are enabled by tech, right? And you can find a role for you there as a Scrum Master, but you don't have to have a computer science background or know how to code or use pipelines and all of that to work as a Scrum Master. So yes, there are ways for you to be successful as a Scrum Master without a background in tech. About 99% of our students don't have tech background at all, and they're working in Scrum Master. Some of them are working in like major companies like Macy's, some of them are working in banks, some of them are working in insurance companies, right? And some of them are working in core tech companies as well. So it all depends on what your goal, kind of company goal is and how you're tailoring yourself for that goal. So, but what are the practical ways? So if you're on here now, you say, okay, I have no agile background, no Scrum background, or I'm applying for roles. I want to know what else do I need to do? So I just put some practical tips here to help you think about this. You definitely want to learn about Scrum and what it truly means to practice as a Scrum Master beyond certifications. Beyond certifications. Honestly, a recruiter would not ask you what is. It's just like reading a biology book and thinking you can operate on a human being, right? A recruiter would not ask you what is retrospective or what is this. They want to know how you can solve those human challenges, like that was mentioned in the chat, right? Those behavioral problems. Because at the end of the day, who is doing the work is the people. How can you do ask us scenario-based questions, behavioral-based questions, right? Of course, they're going to also challenge to know your core understanding of the Agile principles. I've had questions asked of what's your favorite Agile manifesto or what Scrum values is the best for you. Of course, they want to know all of that. But at the core of everything, right, it's, well, the behavioral-based questions, right? So you want to understand, so I'm a Scrum Master in this environment and this is what happens. And one of the ways we also solve this through our course is we literally have, of course, in-class projects that we do, and our project gives us that environment. It's in real life. Literally, I always laugh every time because it never fails to surprise me. The same challenges that I find in a Scrum team in the company, same challenge that I find within the Scrum team within our program as well. So it's that practical, because when they ask you questions, you have to pull from somewhere. You have to be able to think about a time when, right? So that's one. And of course, understanding the Agile mindset, because the way you answer a question will show a differentiator if you are thinking as an Agilist or as a project manager. Two different mindsets, two different competencies. Now, developing the soft skills, which we can all develop. There's never an end of developing soft skills. I am still developing soft skills all the time, because you think you've worked with the most challenging persons, you go to a different environment, you see a whole different thing, right? Keep developing it, focusing on servant leadership, continuous learning, figuring out how can I practice being adaptable and flexible in my work? How do I solve problems? How am I having a learning culture? And the certification is also here because, of course, like I said, it's an entry point, but it cannot be the all in all. You cannot equate certification with experience, especially when it comes to Scrum or being an agile practitioner. Okay, so I see a question in the chat. I'm going to get to that real soon. So I want to just share just maybe because of time's sake, I'll probably just share one. Like, give an example, like the practical example of how an agile practitioner, for example, can come into an environment and switch this up rather. So number one, increase productivity. Now you might think, well, what does productivity have to do with anything? When you increase the productivity of the team, guess what happens? They end up, of course, delivering to the customer, which ends up helping the company get more money or revenue or add to their bottom line. And so the challenge here is a software development company was facing challenges because they were not delivering as they should deliver, and that was affecting their technical team morale. So what would the Scrum Master do? What did Scrum Master do in this environment? Introduce agile practices. Like, so what are we trying to deliver? Do we even know what we are trying to deliver? Are we understanding really the clear picture of what the MVP requirements are from the customer, right? And how are we taking that MVP and adding that to our planning so that at the end of every planning or at the end of every sprint, we're very clear that we are close to the MVP that the customer wants, right? How is it that every day we're making sure that every day we're asking ourselves certain questions? Okay, so this is our goal. The work that we're doing every day, is it connected to that goal? If there's someone who is doing work that is not connected to that goal, can we ask the person questions like, why are you doing that work? Or who decided that work was not priority? At the end of every sprint, are we coming together to ask ourselves questions like, what can we do to make the next sprint better? These are the things that an agile practitioner can bring into an organization, but not just bring in, because it's one thing to introduce something, but if you don't know how to work around it, if you don't know how to change it around to make sure that it's delivering what it's supposed to deliver, because yes, I've seen Scrum Masters do the same practices and it has fallen flat. So it goes back to book knowledge versus practical experience, right? So after the Scrum Master leveraged all of this and figured out how to make sure that it works, what are the results? Productivity, because now every day, the teams are holding themselves accountable. So this is our goal, we're working towards it. If there's something blocking us, we are coming together as a team to resolve it. Okay, now we're getting feedback from our customers every day. We know exactly what our goal is and we're working towards it. We're communicating more. And now what does that do? It literally reduces the delivery time of that project. That is the power of another practitioner, right? And so if you think about it, or Scrum Masters will coming in, because what I just mentioned are some of the tools in the toolbox of the Scrum framework. And so I think about it from the common roadblocks that I've heard, for those who want to become Scrum Masters. And first of all, we talk about being technical, and I already shed more light about that. We said, no, you don't need to be technical to become a Scrum Master, but that doesn't mean you don't want to learn the technical part of it though. And if you're someone, so let's talk about technical for a minute. If you're someone who, for example, works in real estate and want to become a Scrum Master, I tell you that you already have an advantage over someone who maybe worked in engineering and wants to become a Scrum Master. Because what you have that they don't have is that you have domain knowledge. You understand what it means to be a real estate, maybe investor or real estate associate, whatever that is. And you're just leveraging that experience you've learned what it means to be a Scrum Master. You have that experience of being a Scrum Master. So you're merging both worlds together, right? So while I say you don't have to be technical, I'm talking about it from you don't have to learn how to code to work in a coding environment as a Scrum Master, no. However, if that environment that does coding, right, maybe they are let's think about it, like an engineering organization, for example, and you do have maybe engineering background, you are much more likely to be chosen for that role because of just the domain experience that you have, right? You need an IT education to become a Scrum Master. You don't need a computer science degree again to become a Scrum Master. You have to work as a Scrum Master to build experience. Now, this one thing that I help my students understand is you don't have to work as a Scrum Master to build Scrum Master experience. But in my class, I do teach them how they're able to see that they already have this experience. And of course, with the added experience that they get by being a member of my class. Another thing is that you need to take Agile and then take Scrum I heard this and I had to put this on my slide because I remember speaking to someone who was about to take my class, and she mentioned that a friend of hers told her there's something called the Agile certification, then the Scrum certification, and there's the Scrum 1, Scrum 2. I'm like, I don't know what your friend is saying. I don't know what book she's reading, but it's nothing like Scrum 1 certification, Scrum 2 certification. There might be PSM 1, PSM 2, CSM, ACSM, like all of that, but you don't have to take all of the certifications if you don't know how to communicate your value to the recruiter, or you don't know how to add on experience that they're actually looking for. And that's why sometimes we have so many certified Scrum Masters who are still trying to find a job. And again, in the job climate, sometimes can get difficult, right? So I hope I've addressed some of the roadblocks that you might be facing. If there's any roadblock you have in mind that I haven't captured, please put it in the chat so that I can attend to those as well. And to Brandon's question around, can you mention the other type of company aside from one where technology is their service? So you mean like technology is their product, or they're enabled by technology, right? So we're talking about technology is their product. I'm thinking about companies like cloud companies, like cloud, like Red Hat, for example, right? Well, Amazon is another company that has multiple products. So it depends on what department you're working in. So you can have a company that has multiple departments that have multiple products, right? And so it depends on what department you want to work for. But we also have companies that are enabled by technology. One company could be construction. They might not have a product that is tech, like a tech product, but they might be enabled by, so for example, maybe they have like a web application, mobile application, or some proprietary software, and they are building out, or they have to maintain. They might require a Scrum Master to come in there. Now imagine if you had construction background, you have an added advantage working in that company as a Scrum Master. I hope that helps. All right, so again, some of the roadblocks. So I want to know if there's any other roadblock you have. Is there anything in your thought right now? Because again, this is your time, your season with me. If there's anything in your mind right now that is saying, well, I might be struggling to become a Scrum Master. Can you help walk me through that? Just let me know. And I want to share real life examples of people that I've worked with, because of course the proof is in the pudding. And I wanted to show you that if they can do it, you can do it. And I'm always very inspired by my students' testimonials and just what they've gone through. Like this person by maybe your right or my right, or maybe your left, literally was also certified for about almost a year. And she didn't join my program until the second week. My program is an 8 weeks program. And before less than a month, she got a job at Equifax. Yes, banks are hiring. She got a job at Equifax as a Scrum Master, our highest pay ever. And her background was like in medical tech. I'm thinking about working in the medical tech floor, right? So again, your background doesn't matter, your education doesn't matter, but it all depends on how we're able to leverage that to make you an ideal candidate. Plus, of course, going through a program that's able to prepare you to work as a Scrum Master on the job. And so there are multiple examples that I can keep going on and on and on and on with you. And most of these students, I've interviewed them, their reviews are live on our social media pages so that you can see them. You can see a possibility of what can be you as well. You can hear their pain point. I've had some of them even share. I think it was doing one of the, what's that called? The last Women's History Month, right? And I wanted to share just some of the women who have also gone through the program and talk about diversity from a woman's perspective. And one of them talked about how just starting to work as a Scrum Master, she was able to invest in her business. On that day of my interviewing her, she was driving to her friend's house, about how she was able to have work-life balance and how she's able to not just invest in her business, but also invest in real estate, right? Now, I'm not saying that is going to be the case for everybody, but it just shows you what is possible. And that is from somebody who was almost homeless until she made a decision and she invested in herself. That was the day that I knew that she even took, I think she said she took a loan or something. I had no idea she took a loan to take the class, but I'm super proud of her and super glad that it all panned out for her, that even the investment that she made in the class, she got that back like in 2 weeks, because that 2 week salary was like more than how much she paid for the class. So it all boils down to just our level of what we want and how much we want to go for it and what we're trying to get to, like what is our drive and what we consider as expensive or not expensive, or as an investment, as an asset or a liability. But to me, all my students keep proving to me over and over and over and over again that is definitely an asset for them, because their lives have changed. And so I didn't want to end today without talking about just the in-demand of Scrum Masters. Yes, if you're on, LinkedIn, or maybe you've spoken to a friend or things like that, people will tell you different things. And let me tell you where I stand. I stand on the path that says there's a demand for Scrum Masters, demand for Agile practitioners. There's so many data that backs that up. Again, the title might be different, the title might be the same. I love to share when I see these rules come up on my social media, on my LinkedIn. I share it on my social media, I share it around so people will know that there's still hope and there's still possibilities and companies are still looking for. The question is, are you ready? Are you that Scrum Master that they can speak to and they have confidence that, you know what, when this person comes to the organization, they can switch things around, right? They can switch things for us. So that is the question that you have to ask yourself. But if you're talking about Scrum Master jobs out there, they're out there. And one of my assignment for you today, just make a mental note of, you know what, I'm going to search for Scrum Master jobs that are out there in my area. And just put Scrum Master in whatever area you're in, which I know I didn't ask you all today, but if you're in, I don't know, Orlando or Texas or wherever you're watching me from, listen to me from, just search for Scrum Master roles there and let me know, or just, you know, look at the roles and responsibilities and see if that's something that you want to do or you can do. And so I'm going to end today with this, you know, while I also attend to questions before I'm done, is why come to Enter Technologies? Why am I passionate about this? Apart from the fact that I've seen this change people's lives, apart from the fact that I've seen this transform homes and seen people get multiple jobs and do what they want to do, apart from the fact that I've seen it also change my own life as well. And I'm passionate about getting more people into becoming Scrum Masters and Agile practitioners because I truly believe it's a key that can open multiple doors. I have students that have started as Scrum Masters and now they are now like network professionals. It is mind-blowing because they worked in a network team. They loved what they heard. They were inspired. They felt like they wanted to know more and they literally switched to technical and they're not network professionals. I have Scrum Masters now who are also Agile coaches and Scrum Masters who are still Scrum Masters. So it's a key that opens on any door. And one thing I want to say for sure is I truly believe, and I stand by this, that the roles and the competencies you get as a Scrum Master literally makes you a candidate for any other role you want to go to. Like you can literally become someone in operations. You can become someone in leadership. You can literally move and morph because you get these skills that are very heavy on people management, process efficiency. Like you can, depending on what your goals are, you can morph and you can move. And to me, that is just another delight of being a Scrum Master, apart from the fact that you can also see your impact within the team in record time. So if your goal, right, is to become a Scrum Master on the job, then I want you to join or ask me more questions about the program that we offer, and I'm going to tell you more about it. So, like I said earlier on, I'm the Agile faculty lead at Enter Technologies, right? And we are a career training provider here in Atlanta. But the wonderful thing is that our students are all over the world, so you can join virtually or you can be in person as well. And when you train with the best, and that is the truth. You don't train with someone who just read the Scrum guide. You train with someone who's gone through the day-to-day grind, who knows how the market is shifting, who's preparing the students for that, right? And our training also covers like on-the-job support, job application processes, access to tools, community. And as soon as our program is over, we don't send you on your way, not at all. We literally tell you, we hold your hand until you get a job. So we have something called the on-the-job support. Rather, you have something called support till employment. So there are two different things. Support till employment is you have the support before you get your employment, and when you get the job, you also know by yourself, you also have support as well. But then in class, right, we're talking about 8 weeks of training sessions, we're talking about resume assistance, we're talking about project and assignment that are literally drawn from real world experience. You're going to get a certificate of course completion. You have interview preparation. So we have the toolbox where we have real life interviews, Scrum Master interviews that you can listen to and you begin to understand the mind of the recruiter. We dissect that in our class. We also have job search assistance. So how you're applying for jobs, we curate these jobs, we share to our students as well. We get support with your LinkedIn and your resume. How are you appearing? Because you can be the best thing known to mankind, but if nobody can see you, if you're not visible, if you're not approachable, like on LinkedIn or any other platform, then nobody's going to come knock on your door, right? So we walk our students through all of that. And of course, support to a job, like I said, and we have payment plans available too. And so I see someone in the chat. If you can take a moment, everyone, to just click on any of the links in the chat. If you want to book a call to know more about our program, please, that's the first link. If you want to contact us or send us an email, that's the other link. And if you want to register, secure your space, that's the other link. So I'm going to pause here for questions. Any question, anyone? So I see one in the chat. Yeah. I don't know why this cough got me today. Okay. Excuse me, everybody. I'm sorry. I got this cough. I've been looking for Scrum Master jobs. Let me tell you, you even have one that has 2 to 3 years experience. You are so lucky, Brandon. You're so lucky. I used to like 5 and above. How should we address that? Be certified without experience. All right, so I'm going to just share this because again, we're in class, right? This is something I would break down to my students. So let me just share this. I mentioned earlier on about how I work with my students to leverage their past experience. So you know how you don't know what you don't know, right? And so when my students go through my program and 8 weeks and they're soaking all this knowledge, doing all these practical things, they begin to see how they've already done some of this before in the past. And they're able to make that connection, right? That is experience. So that's why I tell my students, whether you volunteered, whether it was paid, not paid, whatever it is experience. And, you know, we undersell our experience because we think at that point in time we weren't paid for it, or it was done 2 hours per week, whatever it is. But the question is, did you do it? Did you have that experience? So if you, I feel like you're saying you don't have experience because you either, forgive me if I'm wrong with this assumption, you're not been able to map the work you've done before in the past and what is required of a Scrum Master. Because honestly, I can tell you, 2 to 3 years is actually a short time. I see five and above years. And so if it's 2 to 3 years, I can definitely say that you probably have some experience that will connect to that. And again, even like I said, in my program, we also work through our program, also work through experiences as well. So that's something my students have. So they never have that challenge. And that's why I can have someone who literally finish a Scrum Master comprehensive program and starts working as a senior Scrum Master at Macy's. So I hope that helps. When it comes to experience, I know experience is such a major thing. But I'll definitely say, please never undercut, undersell, undervalue your experience. I literally have a video that I'm probably going to share about that later. Is we have skills, we have experience, but we undervalue it because we don't know the worth of it. And it's just like I said, you don't know what you don't know, right? If you don't know what is expected of a Scrum Master, even if you've done the Scrum Master work, you will not even know because it's just, you're able to talk to it. And not just talking about it, it's also confidence comes as well when you're being through a program where I'm working with you, I'm guiding you, I'm coaching you, I listen to your interviews, I give you feedback, right? I put you on the spot. My students do mock interviews, you know, we literally drill down into your experience. By the time you go through the program, you know, you're able to talk about 2 to 3 years experience. And even if you don't have, you're able to talk about it, you know, yes, you're able to talk about it confidently. You know how someone can confidently speak about something and you're like, wow, I want to know you more. Please don't undersell your applicable experiences. +1 to that. Okay. Thank you for shifting your mindset. Okay, so more about just again how I can help you. My next training program is coming up June 18th, and my classes are Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so if you're interested in getting started, I definitely want you to join me in this. One thing I'll say for sure is there is still a demand for Scrum Masters and Agile practitioners. I am smack in that space, so I know, but I also know how the market is shifting and changing, and that is one of the advantages that you have. Even our programs as well, if you're able to join, you get access to the materials, you get access to the recordings. If you miss a class, you can always watch it after. I have students, again, who I would say that, you know, they literally say that they still use our own, because we have our internal comprehensive like document, we call it like a textbook. They use it on their job. That is how comprehensive it is. That's why we call it comprehensive Scrum Master program. My goal is never to get my student to pass certification. I tell them that it might sound harsh, but that's it. That doesn't mean like my student take their certification exam by the 3rd week or the 4th week and they pass, because I cover it. I cover certification, but most of the time they will hear me say, this is what the guide says, but in reality, this is what is expected. I always say that because the reality and the ideal sometimes are two different things, right? And you want the ideal because, again, like I said, companies are looking for reality. Ideal is good, it's a foundation, it's good, but in reality, what do you do? And so that's the major difference about my program is, it's real life, real time. You have the support, you have the community, you have access to me, you have access to other faculty as well. You have access to these materials and resources. You're never alone. You have support till employment. And when you get a job, you also are absolutely supported. Most of the tools that you use on the job, you're going to use it in class before the job starts. And so if you get into a company and day zero, they tell you, can you lead this call? You're not phased. And even if you're phased, literally, like I said, we're just like one call away too. So you have all that support is to be successful on the job. And so at this point in time, if you're on the fence, I would like to always tell you, you have two choices. Either you do nothing and you get nothing, or you just take a leap and you make this. Yes. So this course, again, it's usually called Scrum Master Comprehensive Program because Scrum is our major framework, because we know that from Scrum you can leverage every other thing, whether it be scaled, agile, or whatever it is. Now we do cover Kanban, but Kanban is not 100% of our program at all. I'm sorry, I saw your question actually, Jen. So Kanban is a portion of our program, but it's not 100%. Our core is Scrum and understanding how Scrum Masters work. Kanban we cover it. But again, my ask to you, Jen, will be take a look at Kanban, either Kanban professional, like job openings that are out there. You see what the percentage is, right? Most of it is Scrum. But then when you get into an environment, you might be given a team that is Kanban. And there are ways around working around that. Even if you don't even have any Kanban experience, I cover that in my class. Like, how do you work around when you come into a team and they hire you for a Scrum Master role, but then they're not even doing Scrum. They're doing Scrum Ban, Kanban, and all of that. How do you work around that, right? So all of that is covered where you know what to do, you know what your next step is. And the beauty about Agile is regardless of framework, the core principles are the same. The tools might be different, but the core principles are the same. I hope that helps. But yes, we do cover Kanban as well as the core part. So we just do Scrum Master and Kanban. Other more popular Agile methodology, you want to share what the other ones are? Because to me, Scrum is the most popular. I'm not sure which other more popular you're referring to. But just let me know what you're specifically referring to as other more popular Agile methodologies. All right, so more about the benefits that we offer in our class. Just in case anyone wants to take a snapshot of this, I want to think more about this a little bit. This would be a good screen to snapshot. I'm going to give such more time for more questions, but these are great questions. Thank you for asking them. I really appreciate it. And thank you for working with me as I have this very random cough. Any more questions from me? Yep, work-life balance, people. Alrighty, I don't see any question from me in the chat now, so let me know if there's anything. Oh, work-life balance. I thought you heard something in the background. That's why you said work-life balance. Oh, work-life balance. Okay, maybe I will share. Jen, I don't know if I have your email address, but maybe we'll share one of the videos that we did from multiple Scrum Masters talking about work-life balance, so you can just hear their perspective. And this is not me trying to oversell this. I'm just going to tell you what it is. If you are talking about work-life balance on the part of remote work, I haven't been in an office for years. So the remote job is there. You can get remote offers as a Scrum Master. And of course, we also know that companies, companies are also doing coming to the office now hybrid, right? Because they got to pay that money and they got to, get tax returns. So there's the hybrid portion of it too. So it falls in an array. So you can get a company that wants you to come in on site. You can get a company that wants you to do hybrid and remote. Now, when it comes to work-life balance, I truly believe that the more you mature as a Scrum Master, you're able to maximize your time. So I'll give an example. For me and most of my students, Friday is the no meeting time. So Friday, and the company is actually adopting that way. Friday is no meeting, which means you can literally do what you want to do. So it can be more time for you to self-study. So I like Fridays for like personal development, professional development, to do work that maybe I couldn't do during the week because of meetings and all of that. right? So there is that opportunity as well. You most of the time when you schedule your meetings with your team, it could be maybe daytime. Again, it depends. There's so many dependencies. I want to be honest here. If you work with a team, for example, that they are different times spread across different time zone. I'll give you a classic example. The team, European time zone, Asia, North America. Within that company, most of their meetings fall within 8 to 10. Within 8 to 10. So what does that mean? Between 8 to 10 a.m., you have your back-to-back meetings. What happens after 10 a.m.? It's up to you as a Scrum Master. That's why when people say, "Oh, I don't have anything to do," while you might have all the time, it doesn't mean there's no work to do. So you get it. You can control the work you do. You can control the impact you deliver with the team. You can have meetings with product owners. You can have meetings with leadership. You can make presentations. You can put yourself in key calls and all of that, right? So there is that work-life balance. As an Agile coach, I was a Scrum Master, and like I said, the more you expand, the more you grow, the more you mature. I think it's also even more at that point in time. But you are aware that even with the time you have, you can use it to give back to the company or do other things you want to do. But it's not the kind of job where, only if you're working in a company that has this on-call system where we want the Scrum Master to be on call. Okay, then that means maybe you're on calls or meetings on Saturdays or Sundays or whatever it is. But such a great question, and you can always know the answer during your interview by the kind of questions you ask your interviewer to know the kind of environment that you're going to. So if that is a non-negotiable for you, there are certain questions you want to ask during your interview to know the kind of environment it is. And that's just a simple solution to that. But overall, I would definitely say the Scrum Master role, that's why I'm like, it's just an amazing key that opens many doors. You can have work-life balance with that. And yes, Gladys, I do one-on-one coaching for sure. I'll definitely say, click on the link in the chat if that would help, so that we can talk more about that. I do one-on-one coach. I want to know more about just the length of the coaching, where you're at, and what your goal is. And so we can put that coaching program together, and I can support you. You're welcome, Linda. If you could share that again, that would be helpful. Just how she can book a call to know more about my one-on-one coaching. Okay. Any other question? Oh, thank you. My pleasure. I know at 1:15 I'm going to be wrapping up the call, so I really appreciate you all hanging out with me. And just let me know in the chat, how has it been? So I see that, thank you, Stella. It's been informative. My insight. I'm always glad to talk about Agile. If you meet me on the road, I might just be talking about Agile to you, so forgive me in advance. Just what it is. Where was I still playing a video? What video was I playing? I don't think I was playing a video. I'm not sure what that means, Brandon. Thank you. Oh no, I said I was gonna send the video. I'm sorry. I said I was gonna send. Maybe it will be part of the replay. We could send a video of just me speaking to Scrum Masters who've gone through our program, and I've called them Scrum Masters because they left my program Scrum Masters, but most of them have gone ahead to become Agile coaches, senior Scrum Masters, and like a network security official, something like that. So I can yeah, no worries. All right, thank you all. Any other feedback for the program, for the course, any question you have, let us know. Let me also know in the chat how this has been for you. At 1:15 I'm going to be letting you all enjoy the rest of your Friday, so that I can oh yes, Mr. Terry, copy of my program today. We're going to okay, we're going to definitely send that to you as soon as possible. Thank you for sharing that you wanted that. No worries, we try to get that to you as soon as possible. Alrighty. And I believe that I heard that there was a pre-workshop video that was sent to everybody too. Let me know if you received that. If you did not, we probably will send that again. So I'm just going to take all my flowers on the call today. So I'm saying I'm receiving my thank you for your time and insights, Stella. Thank you for the informative webinar. It was very informative. Thank you. I love it. Thank you for your time. Absolutely my pleasure. Please don't hesitate to ask us any questions. Feel free to take any screenshot of any of the slide deck you see today. If you have any question, we're on social media as well. We're on LinkedIn, Enster Technologies. We're also on Instagram at Enster_technologies. Here we go. Oh, that is not open, but Enster.technologies. And we're also on Facebook as well. And then we'll be able to definitely answer any of the questions that you have as well.